It's just a peaceful little village in Lebanon. Just a regular everyday something, just it looks like oh no. Oh no. Hmm. I wonder why Israel blew up that village. It's really weird. Looks like a war crime, right? Now here's another little village in Lebanon. Oh. That doesn't look good. I wonder, Israel, why are you doing that? Israel, why are you blowing up villages, just random villages out of nowhere? Israel is just dropping bombs on random little Lebanese villages. Is that what's happening? Is Hezbollah right? Is Israel committing a genocide? No, not necessarily. See, Hezbollah has a systemic practice of embedding fighters, weapons, rocket launchers, tunnels, and command infrastructure inside civilian villages, homes, and even religious sites in southern Lebanon. Then that violates international humanitarian law. If you fight an enemy who doesn't care about the rules, you also can't care about the rules. If Israel goes to great lengths most of the time, you can argue about their methods, but Israel goes to great lengths to warn citizens to get out of the way before they bomb a military target like this. They'll drop leaflets, they'll do phone calls, they'll do TV broadcasts, they'll even fire non explosive munitions onto the rooftop of a building that they're about to blow up, just to tell everyone, hey, a missile is coming, get out of the way. Because they don't want to blow up civilians. Civilians aren't the target. You can accuse Israel of a lot of things like not giving the civilians enough time to get out or being a little too ambiguous where the missile is going to hit. You can talk about all those things. Those are war crimes all unto themselves, but they are not genocide. This is not genocide. This 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 is fighting an enemy on their own terms. You can't think about Lebanon and Iran in the same way you would think about fighting Germany or France or Finland. They don't play by the same rules. And I swear to God, I've heard the word genocide so many times in the past 4 weeks. It just means nothing to me now. Now, every time I hear that Israel bombed a village, I have to think to myself, I wonder how many troops were there. I wonder how much advance notice was given. I wonder how many missiles were hidden in those apartment buildings. I wonder what the arms stockpiles looked like. I wonder how many women were trapped in the basement. I wonder how much was actually going on. I wonder why Israel just seemed to randomly bomb a village out of nowhere. But Israel's problem is not committing genocides. Israel's problem is that the people who are trying to fight them have genocide of Jews in their charter. They're surprisingly restrained, actually. In fact, if you look at this through an objective lens, if you watch where those explosions hit, look how targeted they are. Look how spot on they are. These are guided missiles that are looking at a specific spot and hitting the exact spot every time. They know exactly what they're targeting, exactly where to hit. There's no massive amount of bombs just dropping from the sky and leveling the village. No, they know exactly what they're hitting. And they're doing everything they can not to kill the civilians. They're after the military equipment. But that said, when you're fighting an opponent who just wants to kill Jews, I mean, this is how their attacks look. Just a nice, quiet day in northern Israel. Just a nice little residential zone. Look at until finally the unguided rocket shows up and completely ruins everything. And here's another example of one of those completely threatening military targets that Hezbollah goes after. As you can see, multiple cars, multiple houses. And then, what is that? Where did that come from? I wonder what they were targeting. What rocket launchers did they just blow up? I can assure you, I have a laundry list of things that piss me off about Israel and the way that country's run. But one of them is not trying to destroy the entire Middle East. One of them is not trying to genocide Iranians or the Lebanese or the Yemeni. Not one of them is about the way they target military infrastructure within civilian populations. They do everything they can to clean that place out before the bombs roll out. It's one of the things I like the most when you're fighting terrorism. You take precautions and then you fight the terrorism. Yes, that's how it works. Unlike Hezbollah, unlike Hamas, unlike these There's a reason we call them terrorist organizations, because they use things like unguided rockets in civilian areas and just pray that they hit whoever's standing there. Oh my goodness, there's a group of 10,000 Jews. Let's fire an unguided missile into the middle of them and just claim it was a military target. Yeah, we'll just tell everyone it was a military target. Now, this really got the Christian influencers on X. You know, those people who keep trying to sell you versions of the Bible they wrote themselves. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped into one in Iran. There'll be nothing like it. Open the strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah and President Donald J. Trump. And the Christian influencers had a meltdown. They just had a meltdown. Bruce Snyder here explains it. He and I are on the same page here. When President Trump said "Praise be to Allah" in that post, I honestly got goosebumps. My whole life, I've heard those words used in a very different context, often following chants of things like "Death to America." Groups that openly wanted to destroy us, carry out attacks against innocent civilians and U.S. service members for decades. So hearing that phrase that used in a completely different tone hit me in a way I didn't expect. I could sit here and list every attack tied to that history since 1979, but people already know the reality of what we've faced. I stand behind you, Mr. President. Your language does not offend me. Wipe the evil off the face of the earth. Okay, so we're maybe taking that a little bit far, but I like the sentiment. I like the energy. And the Black conservative preacher brings us almost exactly the same message. Look, these are the very limited things I could find of Christian influencers that were actually positive and understood what Trump was doing. Praise be to God. Many Christians are bothered about a particular word that President Trump used on Resurrection Sunday. This again goes to show that people have zero understanding of Scripture, and while they're saying they are Christian, yeah, yeah. Two things. One, Trump is trolling the Muslim religion country or Iran. Two, the word Allah simply means and is translated to God in the English language. President Trump said, "Praise be to Allah." Are you going to be mad when someone uses the word Yahweh instead of saying Jesus? Yahweh is Hebrew and is translated to Jesus in the English language. Thank you, Black conservative preacher, for proving there are still some people in the West who understand Christianity. And then you got the big one. This is the one that drove everyone over the edge on both sides of the aisle. Still does, for some ridiculous reason. A whole civilization will die tonight. All right, I get it. Never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen. Okay, now we're talking, but it probably will. However, now we have complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail. Maybe something revolutionary or wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight one of the most important moments in that long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. And that sent people into a tailspin, as if they don't know who Donald Trump is yet. Okay, so now let's take a look at some of the meltdowns. Owen Jones says Donald Trump is clearly threatening to use nuclear weapons against Iran. Clearly not. He'll need to be removed as president to prevent a catastrophe that our species will never recover. Sure. Let's see if we can find another one here. Hakeem Jeffries says Congress must immediately end this reckless war of choice in Iran before Donald Trump plunges us into World War III. It's time for every single Republican to put patriotic duty over party and stop madness. Enough. Oh my God. This is the best. This is the best thing Donald Trump has ever done. See if I can find another one here. Amit Kilor says Donald J. Trump just threatened to obliterate Iranian civilization tonight. Is a nuclear bomb would be dropped, or Iran power plants and bridges would be targeted? Is the escalation in the offing? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Now, this message reached Iran, and one of the things about wars is that you have to warn people before you blow up anything that could potentially have civilians in it. You're like Israel does, and shooting unexploding munitions or dropping leaflets on a town to say, "Hey, we're going to bomb this building. Don't be in it when we come." That's the kind of message they're sending. So when Donald Trump sends a message like this, It's serving two purposes. One is it's intimidating his enemy, and the other one is it's following international law before he launches an attack on anything that could potentially injure a civilian. Let me show you how Iran responded to this. God. So Iran took to their national television stations and told everyone available to gather around these power plants and straddle the bridges and cover all of the possible military targets that the US can hit, just in case. Let's create a human shield, guys. Donald Trump might bomb this place. Make sure you're in the way before he does. Tell me another country that operates this way. Any of them. And if you don't think it was coming from their national news, here you go. Here's the broadcast where he tells everyone, men, women, children, toddlers, babies, dogs, cats, horses, everybody, find a power plant and stand on it just in case the missile comes. I don't know what to tell you. Now, before we move on for this, I think we found out why Marjorie Taylor Greene was removed from office. This seems a little unstable to me. Let's at least read what she had to say, the everyone's favorite former White House staffer. On Easter morning, this is what President Trump posted. Everyone in his administration that claims to be Christian needs to fall to their knees and beg forgiveness from God and stop worshiping the president and intervening in Trump's madness. Okay, I know all of you and him, and he has gone insane, and all of you are complicit. Not defending Iran. I mean, kind of are. And let's be honest about this. The strait is closed because the US and Israel started the unprovoked war. Oh my goodness. Marjorie's lost her mind based on the same nuclear lies they've been telling for decades, except they found the uranium. Marjorie, wasn't a lie. That any moment Iran would develop a nuclear weapon. You know who had nuclear weapons? Israel. Yeah, and they never use them. Wild how that works. That's because they're not a death cult. They're not trying to destroy the world. They are more than capable of defending themselves without the U.S. having to fight their wars, kill innocent people and children, and pay. Trump threatened to bomb power plants and bridges, hurt the Iranian people, the very people Trump claimed he was freeing. We're going to get into that in a minute because Marjorie's insane. On Easter of all days, we as Christians should be reminded that the Son of God died and rose from the grave so that we can be forgiven once again and for all of our sins. Jesus commanded us to love one another and forgive one another, even our enemies. Boy. Marjorie has a few things to learn about Christianity. Our president is not a Christian. Yes, he is. And his words and actions should not be supported by Christians, except they are. Christians in that administration should be pursuing peace, urging the president to make peace, not escalating war that is hurting people. You know, the Iranian people specifically asked us not to use their pain as a reason to hurt Donald Trump or stop the war. They want the thing completed. And do you want evidence? I have evidence.
I'm an Iranian who lives in Tehran, and I can hear the sound of bombing outside. In case I'm dead tomorrow, I just want you to remember this. Please, shut the fuck up and don't use me against America or Israel to try and convince them to stop. We ask for this. We want this attack. And I know that you don't want to listen to us. You don't want to listen, but I'm going to give you the shorter version of why we want this. The reason is we had one option, to go and protest this bloody regime, and we did, and they killed 40,000 of us in 2 days. This is the last option we have. We ask for the help, and help is here. And I know I might die, and I don't care, because I'm willing to sacrifice my life for Iran. And you, just shut the fuck up and don't use me to attack anyone or try to stop this. We want this. You don't understand. You're not in our shoes. So
Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of the strangest Christians I've ever seen. Here's an Iranian person begging for the bombing, and I've seen hundreds, possibly even thousands of other videos just like this one where they're all saying the same thing. Hey, they killed 40,000 of us. Can you please help? And then they got it, and now everyone's like, no, you can't destroy their civilization. He wasn't going to. This happened tonight about, a couple hours before the deadline of 8 o'clock. Like everyone knew it would, based on conversation with Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran, and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. I agree to suspend the bombing attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2 week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America as President and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. Now, in case you were wondering what Iran is telling its people, they're calling this ceasefire a complete and total victory over America. The enemy in its unfair, illegal, and criminal war against the Iranian nation has suffered an undeniable, historic, and crushing defeat. Thanks to the pure and sacred blood of the martyred leader of the Islamic Revolution, Grand Ayatollah Imam Khomeini. May God bless him, the measures of the supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution and Commander-in-Chief Grand Ayatollah Sayed Moshtaba. Are you sure we want to put you're putting his name out there? That's not going to go well. May God protect him, be better. And the efforts and bravery of the Islamic fighters on the front, especially the historic, lasting, and heroic presence of you dear people from the very first days of the war, Iran has achieved a great victory and forced the criminal America to accept its 10-point plan. They forced it. Yeah. In which America fundamentally committed to non-aggression, continued Iranian control over the Strait of Hormuz, acceptance of enrichment, lifting all primary and secondary sanctions, ending all Security Council and Board of Governors resolutions, paying compensation to Iran, withdrawing U.S. combat forces from the region and stopping the war on all fronts, including against the heroic Islamic resistance of Lebanon. We congratulate all the people of Iran on this victory and emphasize that until the details of this victory are finalized, there is still a need for perseverance and prudence of officials and preservation of unity and solidarity among the Iranian people. Don't turn on the internet. Sorry, I'm out of sympathy and I'm out of patience for anyone who panics about these tweets anymore. He started this term threatening to make everybody in the world the 51st state. He said it about Canada, he said it about Greenland, he said it about Cuba, he said it about Venezuela, he said it about everybody. Everybody was going to be the 51st state. You know how many people are the 51st state? Nobody. It's the 51st. We're a year and a half in and it still hasn't happened. This is what he does. But if you didn't expect that it was going to get worse when he was fighting under a regime like the one he's fighting in Iran, then I don't know what to tell you. These are terrorists with massive, who's in their charter to genocide certain amounts of certain ethnicities of people and destroy certain other religions and take out anybody who won't convert to their chosen way of living. Yes, yes. The way you approach that is to be bold and bombastic and aggressive and angry. Return the energy. For the number of times that Iran and its regime has said death to the West, saying, I mean, what do you think that means? If not end the Western civilization? This is just reversing course. This is flipping the script. To be honest, I wish he'd do it more. If you need more evidence that the U.S. is not the problem here, this happened about an hour after the ceasefire was agreed to. That's Israel, and that's an Iranian missile. What are you going to say now? So not only now has Iran declared victory because a ceasefire was in place for 2 weeks. They're also trying to start another war with Israel that now they can't fight back because there's a ceasefire. And on top of that, all those people, all those independent creators who seek out truth and want to bring you just honest takes about things that they know to be true with their anonymous sources that no one can find out about because they'd be killed by the Iranian regime or called traitors by their own nation. Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe. Maybe there's a reason they can't reveal their sources. And maybe it's because their sources don't actually exist. People who are out there saying, oh no, Donald Trump's going to nuke Iran, are now like, Donald Trump said he was going to nuke Iran and he didn't. He must be a coward. What do you. This is why. This is why I made the commitment at the very beginning of this channel to never, ever, 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 ever pick a side. I was never going to be red tie. I was never going to be a blue tie. I was never going to be mainstream. I was always going to be independent. If I ever accept any money for the channel, it'll be with the agreement that the content will never be affected. It'll be because the audience is ready to hear what we're doing here. And the audience is growing. It's growing slowly, but it is growing. Anyways, thanks for sticking around, guys. Thanks for sticking around for the whole thing. If you made it to this point, like and subscribe to the video. Of course, I put the sticker at the front, so you could do that there too. But greatly appreciate it. Maybe we'll get back in a little bit more of Canada next time. Take care.